Hi, I'm Ben, and I've been doing marketing for about 15 years now, B2B marketing, really all of it. And I've also got a long history in doing work with neural networks, AI, and now more transformers and some of the most recent stuff in the world of AI. What I'm going to do is show you a sort of a personal work that I've been doing on how AI has shifted over the last few years. And it's a project that I call Skynet. And basically I call it Skynet because it's AI, of course, but also the most important bit is that everything here is based on my personal work in marketing. So it's not just a general chatbot based on everything out there on the internet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through it and see what you think. My first question I'm going to ask is, what are the core principles that define my approach to B2B marketing? So what this is doing is it's taking all of the strategy documents that I've been writing over the years, and it kind of has synthesized it into this kind of powerful RAG model, retrieval augmented generation. And the reason to do that is you can, of course, just do Google searches of your own information, but it doesn't draw things together, firstly. And secondly, the way I've done it, it pulls together things that I've done last week with things that I've done 8 years ago. So that ability to pull together everything into one model is what I find incredibly useful. So here you can start seeing information coming back. So from the sources, you've got several consistent core principles. You know, balance over big bang. So this is my point I always make about you need a balanced portfolio of activities. You can't just do one campaign and expect it to work. Secondly, this point about customer truth. If you do what the customers ask for, things will go well. It seems obvious. Really important about prioritization. And so on, and I'll just scroll through this just to show the point. But also what's quite nice is it gives this sort of confidence score at the end, which I find very useful. So that's that particular question. Now let's try another one. I think my second question is, if a company's inbound pipeline is underperforming, what would my diagnostic checklist look like? So it will produce some sort of checklist or something like that. There's a whole bunch of reasons why B2B pipelines don't fill up in the way that they should do. There's all sorts of things from like misaligned messaging, so different departments are saying different things. Attribution doesn't really work. Of course, you've just got low quality leads because you haven't got your product marketing or anything aligned. But for senior marketers, generally you don't overreact. So you look at things like here is something that I've done a couple of times, which is don't panic is the most important thing. And what you really need to do is quite a methodical process of going through all of the different places where it could be going wrong. Is that the reason? No. Is it a technical thing? No. Are people actually finding the pages and so on? So there's a whole bunch of stuff. You only really get to this point of like customers don't want what you want if everything else is working properly. So there's a few more examples there, and I could take you through that and summarize it through. So then we'll go to, let's ask another question about another topic. And this topic this time is, let me type it in. What recurring themes appear in my research about the future of AI in marketing? It's been an interesting one. So again, we wait for the answer. So it's doing this full search through organization through the sort of RAG model. And let's see what it comes back with. Yeah, so human and organisations are not the real bottleneck, are the real bottleneck, sorry, and not the technology. We talk about what holds things back, but there's an awful lot of hard work that needs to go into creating these things. You can't just add AI, because if you just add AI, quote, you will get marketers I'm afraid, writing things which aren't particularly powerful and are basically wrong. A lot of high quality content, everyone knows this, but it's even more and more important, particularly as we go into the words of AEO and GEO and answer visibility. GEO is one of the most important bits, making sure your brand is embedded in the priors so that the AI models pull out information from you, absolutely crucial. And then a lot more here. The most important thing is thinking in Bayesian terms. I mean, that's one of the key things for me. But that's a sort of really useful question. The next question I have got is... using my previous writing style, explain why content visibility matters in AI-driven search world. So this is a question about content, so incredibly important, particularly authoritative content. But let's see what my model comes back with any moment now. There we go. Yeah, so this goes to this point everyone knows about, first of all, zero-click. And actually, this is a good example where zero-click is a phenomenon that came out that everybody learnt about years ago. But it's still relevant today. And this is my point about there are things that have been around and important for years and years, but you can't forget about those things because they're still really very relevant, for example, when people are doing searches. So, yeah, there's a bit here about AI view content coming from ChatGPT, Perplexity, Copilot, and so on. Visibility is now multi-service, so you're being seen in different areas and so on. What else have we got here? Changing from ranking to is this somebody who's ready to convert? So this is the point about traffic from ChatGPT converts at around 7x standard organic traffic because it's more trusted. So that's very useful, and actually that's got a very high confidence level, that piece of information. So last of the 5 questions. What's it going to be? Create a positioning statement for a hypothetical new B2B software product using the methods normally applied in product marketing. Crikey. This is quite a tough one, but here we go. Here's a positioning statement. So that's coming out at the top rather than sort of a list of answers. But we help mid-market software organizations, companies' revenue, and marketing leaders turn scattered go-to-market plans into a single source of truth for execution, strategy, and measurement by combining buyer-centric planning, automated status tracking, and clear performance reporting so everyone knows what to do, when, and why it matters. There we go. So that's a positioning statement for me, of course, but you can take that and use that in your own way. Yeah, and there's a few more details below, but that's quite a nice short answer. So sometimes I find with this, it gives quite a long, detailed answer with lots of information. But sometimes here, yeah, I'm asking for a positioning statement. So that's a short statement, not a long piece of information. Anyway, that's it for now. That was hopefully that you people found that useful. Any questions, follow up. I use this all the time to basically search all of my own personal knowledge and come up with stuff so that I'm reusing everything I've learned over the years. If you're interested in setting this up for yourself, then obviously get in touch. All you need really is notes and data, whether that's written notes, spoken notes, all sorts of things you can use as input to pull into the data sources. But if you're interested, let me know, ben@bjrees.com. Thank you for watching.